Greetings and welcome to another Lessons with Odin. Today I am going to show you how to make a slightly decorated beaded bead, such as featured in my Carnivore pendant. Now, this pendant, the whole thing isn't going to be shown on YouTube. I'm basically going to show you pieces of it, and the pieces I'm going to show you are the bail, the little bubble here, and the spike. So stay tuned for the other two parts here that I will show you later, but today I'm going to show you this one right here. This one is kind of a cute little thing that can be used as basically spacers, sometimes bead caps. Put it together like that to form cute little earrings, and anything like that. I am actually going to replace the one on this one because I don't like the color. So, for this project, you will need some beads. You can use any size and any shape to make this, just as long as the holes are large enough to fit into a couple lengths of monofilament cord. Speaking of, you will also need some monofilament. Fishing line, nylon. I got this thing for like $3 and it lasts forever. So that's a nice little investment there. You'll need 2 colors of seed beads. I'm using size 15 Delicas and size 15 rounds, but you can use any combination you want. The larger the seed bead, the bigger the X is going to be on the bubble bit. Alrighty, and let's get started. Alright, so for this project, all you are going to need is 12 of these beads, so it's a really nice project for all those little bits and bobs that you have lying over, and you have no idea what to do with them. So anyway, you are going to cut a very short length of monofilament cord. I have colored the ends just to make it a little easier for you guys to see. We're going to start off by threading on 3 of our, in this case, 4mm beads. Letting them drop to the center. I'm going to pick up one more. I'm going to put it on one side of the thread. Then I'm going to cross it, which means pass it through in the opposite direction with my other thread so that it forms a little bit of a cross. If I can get the damn thing through. There we go. Okay. So you see this little cross thing going on. You have 2 threads coming in opposite directions. Center your thread and you will end up with a circle of 4 beads. Now we will add 1 bead on each side. Like that. So they end up there. And we're going to add 1 more and cross it again. So add it on 1 thread. Pass the opposite thread through it in the opposite direction. Pull it down. And you end up with 2 crosses. Do that once more. Add 1 bead on each thread. Like that. Add 1 more. And cross it. Okay. Now we have 1 more step. What we're basically going to do is add on 1 bead on each side once more. But this time we're going to use our very first bead to cross. So we're going to take our right thread, pass it through the right side of that bottom bead. Like that. Pull it down a little bit, then we're going to take our left thread and pass it through the left side so that we are crossing the first bead that we added. You pull tight, and we end up with a beaded bead. Okay, so in order to accent this, we're going to do pretty much the same steps. You can see that there are 3 rows of beads going on here, basically 2 on the ends that go in one direction, and then one row in the middle that goes this direction up and down. We're basically only going to be using those beads in that middle row. So we'll start off by putting 2 color A seed beads on each side of your thread and let them drop down to the center. So they are on both sides of that bead. Now you're going to take 1 color B bead and cross it. Just like that. We're going to pull it down so that the seed beads form a triangle next to the 4mm bead that your threads originally came out of. To anchor this in place, we're going to add 2 color A seed beads on both threads. Let them drop down here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pass through the next 4mm bead over. This is the one we're coming out of originally, so we move over here and cross the right thread through the right side and the left thread through the left side. Pull tight, and we end up with a cross just like that between 2 4mm beads. Show you guys how to do that once more. We will put 2 color A seed beads on each thread, let them drop down, add on 1 color B seed bead, and cross it, so that it forms a little arrow. Just like that. To anchor it, we're going to add 2 color A, sorry. We're going to add 2 color A seed beads on each thread. And then jump over to the next 4mm seed bead, or 4mm bead. Right there. Started here, we're going to move over here. So we take the right thread, move it through the right side of the bead, and the left thread and move it to the left side of the bead. And pull tight. You will have another X. Repeat that all the way around until you have filled in all the gaps on these circle. Okay, so once all of your sets are complete, how we're going to tie this off is you're going to take one of your threads and move it around the set of 4mm beads. You'll end up going through 3, 1, 2, 3, until both ends of your threads meet. Then you'll tie an overhand knot. So I'm going to take that thread, move down 1, over 1, and up 1. So now that our 2 threads are in the same general direction. So I'm just going to tie an overhand knot to finish it off. Then what you're going to do after that is basically pull it through a couple of beads to kind of hide the knot and to give it a little bit of reinforcement before tying the threads short. And you'll be done. And there you have it, a slightly decorated beaded bead. You can even make these things larger by adding more rows. Go back to the part where you add 1 4mm on each side and then cross it. Do more of those steps to make it larger. And yeah, try this out with larger beads, different shapes, rounds, cubes, and let me know what you guys make. Either post me some pictures, I'd love to see what you're doing. Follow me on Instagram and tag me at odins.musings. I would love to see what you do. And yeah, that is about it for this Lessons with Odin. Stay tuned for more pieces of the Carnivore pendant. The tutorial itself in its entirety, the tutorial for the beaded cabochon part will be available on Craftsy. I'll have a link down below. If there is anything that I need to be trying out immediately, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you next time.